Hi everybody, it's Colin here from Woodthorpe International. Hope you're all well. Well, what we've been up to. The boat has gone into dry dock. I've brought it up to a standard now. I know I can finish. I needed to know if I could build it to put it on the layout, or were I going to have to redesign the layout not to have a boat if I couldn't build it. I think we're okay with the build. It's just a case of I've got some cell guides to do and the anchors and other little bits to put on and the men to paint, but there's not many men. So it's at a stage where I needed to go into dry dock because I have changed the plans of the new layout. Where we was going to have 2 rooms and have a fiddle yard, if I bring the old fiddle yard up, which was this one, hopefully it'll come up. No, that's the new one. American Fiddle Yard, sorry, wrong one. So we should be able to see all of that. This was the old Fiddle Yard, like that. Now, I had issues when putting it together, having 4 tracks running round and all interconnected. Because what could happen, say on the yellow line there, sorry for the wave, I've tried to get it on a bit of the moving about of the camera. There could be an English train on from there to there, and from here to the end it could be a different country. And if I wanted a different country out, it was all pie in the sky. And there's a lot of curves, which ain't always a good thing, having curves, just to get things moving and stuff. So I've decided to totally change the plans. So that was the fiddle yard, and the fiddle yard now, if I bring it up, is like that. If I bring it down a bit, you just cannot, you can virtually see the top. The top is another couple of lines. I don't want to try and move the camera. I don't know if I can move the screen down. Oh yeah, I can. So, because there's another room we can use, excuse me, I've decided to put the fiddle yard on 2 levels, and each colour is 1 country. So in the green, I don't know which one this is the lower. So this could be, green is England. So England will only be on the green lines. It'll come in here, round, through one of those lines, and the others will have stock on, round to the bigger area where this one can nearly take 2. The overall size of this is nearly about 16 foot. So, but it's only very narrow, it's about 1.7, but that's great. Walking here, the dog goes out, walking, and I can get to everything. And it's the same on it's exactly the same on the upper level, but just different colours. So the upper level have Europe and America in. This level has Japan and England in. just going through from this room into here. So that's the Fiddle Yard, and it's just a lot more straightforward. And if anybody comes to visit, somebody else wants to have a go and they want to look in the Fiddle Yard, they'll clearly see the different countries just due to the shape and style of the engines and stock. So it'll be a lot easier to understand. Now this room here was going to be, as you know, the Fiddle Yard, and well, if you can remember, the Fiddle Yard in America. But now this is the upper level, and this is America. This line here is still going to have that big hill covering all this area, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that area there open so I can get in. So the wood will come off here, and there's going to be a wood yard over here and a station with just 2 platforms in the middle, just to represent passengers going by. Now, where before the country, if you started off in America, if they ran round America, they could go off and run around the rest of the world. It's going to be slightly different this time, and I'm going to use I-trains more for it. This outside line will always go through the Fiddle Yard, and then eventually come back and go off and through the station and round here, and then off again. Now, if it's the inside line, they can transfer over at different points, but what they're going to be connected to is one of the helix, and it's the helix what is I've already built. So we're only having one helix in this room. But the other thing I'm going to build here, there's going to be a tunnel mouth here, and a little bit of a hill, and a tunnel mouth there. And from about here all the way around to there is going to be a Trestle Bridge. I've already designed the jig. I've done a couple of trestles, not finished them because I've run out of the wood, but I'll show you that in a little bit. And then if we look at the lower level, lower track, turn that and that off, and put the baseboards on. This is Japan, and that's the connection to the helix. So the inside line can go up to America and run round there and come back down within this room. There's a station for Japan's passengers. It's smaller, and the other thing we're going to do is not have any industries in Japan. It's just going to have industries driving past. There's a turnover point here and one here for them to get from the outside to the inside. But this bit of blue here is going to be sea, because Japan is 2 islands and it's got like a channel tunneling. And I have had a request to send Japan under the sea, and that will go off into the Fiddle Yard to, if it's going to a different country, go around the Fiddle Yard, and sorry you didn't see any of that. It's going to go through there into the Fiddle Yard and off, and eventually it'll come back and comes back on that line. Now it might not come back as the same train, because if it's going to the other island, it's got to get to A to B and send other things back. So that's going to be C, and this green line is going to be how it gets to England and can have a drive around England. It can also get to Europe, but in a different format. It can either go up and through America, or it can go through England to get to Europe. So they can still all go on a very long journey. England will come in here at this point down at the bottom there and go straight on to get to its Fiddle Yard. Like I said, that's the helix to go up to America. So that's how I've changed the American and Fiddle Yard one. America's still in here, but as you notice now, Japan has its own board, whole room, and Japan is going to be winter. It's going to have snow. America is going to be a season of autumn. So that's that one. And if I go now to England, this is England. It's virtually the same, except for the room we're going to use is smaller now. It was 8 meters from there all the way over to here. So it's now down to 6 meters. It was about 7.6 on the inside, where this is going to be 6 meters on the inside, and it's going to be 4 meters from here up to there. So it's gained 200 mil, but it's lost 2 meters as near as, damn it, certainly 1.8 in its length. So things have had to shrink, but if you can remember the old plans, and if you haven't seen them, they're on past videos. There was a helix here, that's gone, and then there was a smaller helix, that's gone as well. Well, sorry, there was a big helix, the smaller helix was on the upper level. I do apologise. The helix is going to be there, so I've cut a helix out. One of the big ones is on, there's only going to be 2 now, and that's where it goes round and goes into Europe. There's the ship, that's the dock, and all this will be dock land round here for containers. This area up here is still going to be, this is where it's slightly different now. This is the area for the cement works. So the cement works before was over here, but I've moved the station to this side because the station was somewhere on this part. I've done away with the turntable. The reason for that, the guy I bought the turntable off has fully retired, and he isn't gonna, there's no one to make spare parts for it. If anything goes wrong, it's gonna have to come out. So I'm just not gonna have one. And I did use it a little, but not a great extreme. So I'm going to do away with that, and I'm going to do away with the TMD which was in this area due to size. Those lines there is how it gets to the Fiddle Yard and into Japan to have a run round there if it wants to go for a bit longer on the outside line. There's many ways for all the other tracks to get to those lines. I've allowed for that. This grey line is the cement works, and I'm still going to have 4 lines running around England, but the thing I am going to do is have a tail chaser in England. Instead of it going round the helix which was here, down to Europe, round and coming back up again, it's just going to be a tail chaser with all 4 lines. Now what I'm going to build here is a double stack gate. So that is going to have a slope on, so it's going to open towards the helix for me to walk in and shut it behind me. The door's going to be here and open that way, so I should be okay. If not, I'll open it out. I don't know what the size is just yet, but that's the station. This line here is for the biomass wagons and the power station over here. And as I said, this is a container yard with 3 lines. As before, basically, I've just shrunk it down a bit and I've altered this area. It only had 1 line, but I've got to be able to get to the helix from the passenger lines to send them on a longer journey, or the goods lines to go on a longer journey. So that's that. And Europe is going to be like that. The top of the old helix was over here, and there was, where this blue line, the blue line is the Glacier Express, and there was a small helix there. I've done away with that one just due to changes. So the Glacier Express is on a continuous loop again. The hill is going to cover maybe from there across to here, but I'm going to have to design it in such a way that I can take segments out of the hill to get to the track to do running repairs, clean it, replacement, whatever. These are the lines where Europe gets to the Fiddle Yard and America for a longer journey. I've moved no, I do apologise. The oil terminal is still on this side, but a little bit shorter in length. I still have the 8-line terminus station, but I've got 2 lines running down the middle to get to the helix and go down to England for a longer journey that way. And there's many ways all the tracks can get to it. This is 200 mil higher than the rest of the layout. This part is going to be 50 mil higher than the rest, but I've moved one of the small helixes to here for the Glacier Express to get down to the station. And how it gets to the Fiddle Yard is to go on its journey that way to go out. Not that there's many trains on Glacier Express. They may just be stored here and that's it. But there is a place to get engines, different types of engines. Here, because this was Japan before, it's now free for all of Europe. And I'm going to put a waterworks where the bottled water gets made. Because I watch a guy called Smile Video, it's Smile something, an old guy, he's great. And one of his favourite trains is the water train, what comes through the Channel Tunnel with a 66 pulling it into England. So I thought it would be nice to do that here and send it down to England, to have it running through. So again, Europe is going to have 4 lines going round, and it's going to be self-contained on that level. So in this room, I could have a possibility, if there's just me in here, having 9 trains running. 8 on each of the 4 lines on each level, and 1 of me messing about. Maybe shunting here or up here, or down in England. Or if there's 2 of us, we could have 10 trains running here. I know iTrains will allow us to have more, but I'm just talking about 1 on each track, or 1 on each track running and then a bit of shunting. So that's the change, and that's part of the gate what will be connected to the one underneath. So again, I open one, they both swing like a swing bridge. It'll open, it'll be hinged here and open over there and shut behind me. So I don't have to do any crawling underneath, and there'll be the town here for Europe and stuff. So that's the changes. I'll show you the trestle bridges now, and there's a little bit of what I've put the boat into dry dock, basically with the winches on and the rope ready for tying to the docks. So I'll show you the trestle bridge now. Right, so my jig. That's my jig for my trestle bridge. Basically, that's a top that goes into there. Push it up to that end. That's in the right place, and then one of the legs goes into that. Glue it on. It holds it in the right place and goes off. And I know they're all the same at the top. It won't be stuck up like that at the top. It does go down, just that I'm reaching and it's not helping. Now I'm using balsa wood. Now there's a reason for that, because you can get different sizes of wood, but it's light, but it's still very strong, and especially when you make it like this. But I've decided to colour it first, and if you colour it, if I just show you, that's a piece of balsa wood. Sorry, it's not focusing. That's a bit of balsa wood. There it is. Just with the stain on. So, exactly the same as what is on the piece I'm going to show you, but it doesn't take very well. And what we've done is we've grained the wood with a metal brush. Now this scars it and puts a texture to the wood, and if I show you, so you can see the different textures of the wood. So it's losing focus. You can see the marks it's put in, and then we've rubbed 3 different oil colours in at different places and then rubbed it all together, and then we finish with this colour and texture. And if I show you one trestle which is not fully done, that's not got the top cross members on, but the cross members are there. And if I take it off the stand now, you'll see it. At its full height. So that's 450mm high. So basically, when each of these dowels go in the slots, and then these cross pieces are where I need to put the cross rails on, so I know where they are, spaced out, going up, and then the diagonals I just have to cut them by hand, and then I have to use a very fine brush, and basically tab each piece where I need a glue, and then place it on, and just a quick hold, and the PVA glue just goes into it, Soaks in really quick and holds it. And then once I've done all these rails, I then need to just put the cross pieces on. And you only put the diagonals on one side, and then you put it on the other side the same way, but it's the opposite. And then it makes the box effect that it can't just concertina up and go flat, because they hold it. So, and then when it's over here, and it's going to go around here, if I put one there, if I can get it to stand up. Not forgetting that they won't be as low as this. Put it there. So they'll be about that far apart, maybe a bit closer. Oh yes, knock it over, I would. Yeah, bit clumsy oaf. It will be a bit tighter in the back. Don't know how much yet. But it's got to take the weight. So I'm trying my best to get it in the right place, but it's just getting it to stand up. About there. And then what will happen is, once it's all, the legs are together, I have to put cross pieces on at the same height as these, and the diagonal, and diagonal on the inside, and cross pieces on the inside, which will get a bit more fiddly. And then I have to do it all the way around. But it is going to step up. The land is going to go up towards the tunnel, what's at this point, but up here. So it comes in, comes through a tunnel, and then the Trestle Bridge starts to get larger, and there might be 3 legs at 100, and then 2 at 200, and then a 300, a 350, a 4, till it gets to there. And somewhere, maybe not dead middle, a trestle will be that far apart, and there'll be a bridge, beams going across, which then the smaller trestles sit on top, so the water can come through here. I'm going to make a concrete base for them all to sit in, and then that sits on the actual land itself. And it doesn't go right down to the deck, because Japan's got to run round the outside of the helix as well. So that's going to run under the land. The actual back scene will be full of rocks and plant life, and then curve out, and then just dip a bit so we can just see if anything happens to the Japanese. It shouldn't do just going around a curve, but hopefully that'll work out nice. So that's the plan, and that's the size, roughly 100 in from each end, and that's going to be the girth of the Trestle Bridge. So there's a lot of wood still to come. It's on order, 158 lengths in total, and a lot of gluing, a lot of patience, but I proved I can do it with the shit saw, and wood is my thing. If I can't do this, I mean, we'll be struggling. Right, I'll show you the boat now. Right, so that's my windshears at the front in place. These are just loose at the moment for tie into the dock. I don't know where I'm going to put them yet. They've been pulled taut to here, so that's them. The other side, naturally, they're wound up because we're not using that side. I can only dock on one side. And then the same here. The two coming out, and they've been pulled taut to this point, and the mechanisms are in there. If I show you, you can just see them in there, and there, that loop is the third one, would be for that side. I don't know if I can get them in, if you see it as easy here, but they're in there. So my little hole trapdoors worked. So that's just going to go, the whole thing now is going to go into storage. Well, I hope that wasn't too much blabbering on. Anyway, I look forward to showing you more of the Trestle Bridge. I need the Trestle Bridge because that room where it's going, part of America and Japan, is the first room I'm going to do. So that's why I need it, because both lines go on that with America. So I need that in. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye.